Wack 100. You know,
Ho No 100, what's happening? Man, you know what? I'm gonna say this real quick. You mentioned Wack Ho No 100, and for most people that are aware of my internet presence, they would assume that Wack Ho No 100 and Bosco 100 would be equal energy recipients for myself. But since you just mentioned Wack Ho No 100, I want to take the moment just to shout out Bosco, shout out Big Court, and shout out Alex Alonso. And because through Big Court and Alex Alonso, Bosco and myself found ourselves being man enough to communicate today and bury the hatchet of a lot of the bullshit that the public has seen us experience on the public platforms. Who was right or wrong, who started it, who wasn't. We went through all that, you can imagine. But we got to a point where it's as if none of that took place. And I don't mind being the first to announce that you shouldn't anticipate any negativity or disrespect from myself or Bosco one toward another from this point forward. So shout out to the Damu Bosco from Inglewood on my mama. But what's up with Ho No 100 though?
you guys recently had some things. I think you said that he doesn't put on for Pacoma, and then he responded to that. But he basically tried to say he didn't know who you were on No Jumper. He was on No Jumper. Adam kept trying to tell him, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know you know who Spider is, but he wouldn't, admit to knowing who you were.
Yeah, there was someone throwing some allegations toward him that kind of brought his masculinity into question. And I find it highly ironic. The first response to that individual was, who? He acted like he didn't know him as well. So we know how dishonest that is in regards to me. It caused me to suspect it perhaps may be equally as dishonest in regards to the individual that he was referring to with the rainbow allegations. However, my point that I was making was Ho No 100 goes out his way to represent himself as an expert on activities that take place in Compton, Watts, and South Central Los Angeles in particular. And what I was saying was the point I was making was people, if everyone from Southern California felt that way, we would not know Long Beach wouldn't be on the map the way it was. If Ice Cube didn't separate from NWA and feel that way about South Central wouldn't be on the map the way it was. I was saying how people from Gardena, even my homies from East Coast that's from Carson, do not go out their way to try to affiliate themselves with Los Angeles. They bang DA. They very proud of DA. Trey 57s, just equally as close, if not closer, to Los Angeles or Compton than the Pacoimas. You never hear them trying to claim Compton or LA. And I just have always been confused how someone with so much exposure gives such little exposure to the actual environment. The essence of who we are is no matter how unpopular my actual section is, when I get some shine, that's all you're going to hear about. And he doesn't seem to possess that pride in his actual environment because as has become one of the most popular people on the internet from Southern California, he seems to try to associate himself with Compton and South Central versus promote and associate himself with the actual environment that raised him, which is Pacoima, San Fernando Valley, far from the actual environment that niggas rap about. But he seemingly is invested in convincing the majority or the masses, the audience that is not aware like we are, that there is something other than that going on. Like he's really tied into Compton and LA when I know, you know, he know, and she know, the only thing he know about Compton and LA is what he has been told. Wack can name to you every time he's been to Compton on one hand. And you know what I find real funny about Wack No 100? He'll be on club. I was trying to recall when he was in Compton and talking to a nigga from Peru. He'd be like, remember that day, blood? We was at the Walgreens. There has never been a Walgreens in Compton in my whole life. He'll say Rosecrans and Central, so I know he's talking about the Rite Aid. But for a nigga who don't know the environment, who don't know where he was at, what he actually saw, a Rite Aid could quickly turn into a Walgreens. When there's only Rite Aids and CVS's in Compton, there are no Walgreens throughout the whole diameter of that circumference of that motherfucker. But these are things that you naturally will be aware of if you were familiar with the environment, that someone who's not familiar with the environment, who try to talk like they are, will say that's off base. He has another clip that I'm very I find very ironic off No Jumper. Shout out to Adam, where Adam, I think it's the same clip, where Adam questioned him about what I was saying. His response was, I just want to know how a dude who ain't from Pacoma know what a dude from Pacoma do in Pacoma. When he had the nerve and the audacity to say that bullshit, I said, bro, if you just take that logic and apply it to your whole presence on the internet, how do you know what any nigga do anywhere outside of Pacoma, nigga? You apparently are the self-appointed expert on what every nigga do in every borough, every ghetto, every hood, everywhere across the United States. But you had the nerve to question how I could have any knowledge of what a Pacoma guy does in Pacoma. Does that logic not resonate with you as ridiculous as?
It definitely sounds like a double standard.
The worst thing that any person, including Wack100, who has been at the forefront of trying to assassinate my character upon line, has ever been able to utter about me is, not me, but your brother is a snitch. And as much as they cannot prove that, I take that as a badge of honor when we on this public platform and people are throwing accusations and throwing facts and shooting shots and saying who is who and this is that. And in order to attempt to assassinate my character, if you have to go outside of me as an individual, that means I'm stump tight bulletproof with this shit. And they still can't even give you no evidence of my brother being a rat. Shout out to Big SPI, free the SPIs, 1, 2, and 4. I'm the third for those that don't know, on my mama. But yeah, I take pride in that. If you are internet expert, you a hip hop expert, West Coast, Midwest, East Coast, you know the shit. The worst thing that you ever heard him say about me is what? My brother a rat, right?
I've heard that, yes. But I mean, that was just from the music, though.
No,
I'm gonna be honest. I just heard that from music.
But outside of that, you were one of the staples out here, and I want to salute you that you humble as. But I don't want to put no details on it. But you're right where you projected yourself to be right about now. But all I'm saying is, free SPI. I love cuz I'm not saying he no rat. I'm just saying when it comes to me as a public figure and people trying to tear down people's characters and their history, I take pride in the fact that when they come to trying to discredit me, they have to go outside of my actual, I hope that makes sense. Sometimes I feel like a preacher. So if Cam ain't gonna say amen, amen, let the church say amen.
No, I hear what you're saying,
man. I know as a content creator, I had to learn this. No matter how friendly or brotherly you become, they have somewhat of obligation to remain neutral in order to maintain the integrity of their platform, keep it expanding, and keep everything. And I've learned that. So I ain't gonna try to drag you on my side of the argument.
Nah, I was gonna agree with you that, you know, the worst things that people say about you is usually like, you know, you made them mad about something. It's not really like, you know, spiders, you know, not anything that would be really bad. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I don't, when I see a title with my name in it that's negative, or somebody send me something, I never watch it. Because what I'm aware of before I'm aware of what anyone says about me, there is no reality that is actually true about me that I'm ashamed of. So if you would say anything negative about me that put me in a bad light that would cause me to be shameful, it's untrue. So I know my whole reality, and I accept it all. I'm proud of it all. The wins, the losses, the ups, the downs, the goods, the bad. I'm still willing to present my reality as who I am. And so unless you deviate from that, you can't say nothing about me that I have a problem with. Just keep it a Google. Keep it factual. And I don't mind you telling anything you know about me. That's whoever you are. Now, if you're going to lie, that's another situation. I do get somewhat of an irritation when there's a lack of honesty involved in discussing my actual existence.
What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon, so hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.